side against Artemiev, because Artemiev can open with his king's pawn, queen's pawn, any move under the sun. He does open with 1d4, and we see Black's knight come out. I prepared for Artemiev recently at the European Team Championships, and I just gave up after a while because he plays every opening under the sun. And Simon, are we going to see Harry the H-pawn push forward here?
Already?
That would be the chessboard course you've just made.
Big mistake there.
So he doesn't go for it.
To the Grunfeld.
Yeah. The Grunfeld defense. So a counter-attacking opening by Magnus, often giving white extra central pawns, but Black will be able to challenge those central pawns from the sides.
One of your specialities. This is the first opening I think you played, wasn't it? And you still play it nowadays as Black, and played by a lot of dynamic players. Gary Kasparov played this a lot, and
Peter Spidler.
Yeah, MVL of course. So it's a counter-attacking opening for Black here.
Yep.
Do you think it's a good choice though to kind of play something that's quite dynamic and could potentially be quite forcing?
I think against Artemiev specifically, it's a very, very good choice. That being said, he does play himself as Black, so I mean, Artemiev, he just doesn't like his opponents to be direct in the opening, and the Grunfeld is one of the most direct lines with lots of forcing variations. So I think against Artemiev specifically, maybe Magnus has picked this line, and White's bishop coming out there. It's maybe not the main move. Usually we see a trade of pawns in the center. White's bishop coming out. Now Black's usual move is to plant the knight in the center of the board.
It's quite funny, Dave, because I was looking at this position recently for my last chessboard course I did with Richard Patterson, and you can get the same position, but the pawns on h4 and h5. Then bishop g5 is actually a much stronger move, because your pawn on h4 protects the bishop, so this knight jump doesn't work. Dave was like, no.
Really?
I just beat him instead. It was like,
Nice, David.
did you beat him?
It was a draw
It was a draw,
eventually.
yeah. Okay,
Okay.
right, okay. But you still
I could
said
have saved
no.
myself a few hours if I did. I still said no.
But you said no, and we're like, you said no, you could become British champion now, and you decided to play on. I was like, wow, this is incredible. So
I was young, I was full of optimism.
has.
Meanwhile, there have been some moves. We should mention Black is actually giving up his knight. Magnus is letting White take the Black knight, but that would distract the White king, and the Black pawns are just going to run through and promote. And we see in the evaluation bar, it's completely winning for Black now. Magnus just needs to choose the right square ball most against those flanker pawns. Knight struggle against Harry and Alice the most. So promote Harry here, that's the key.
Harry. Matters.
Harry and Harry.
Well, will we see Harriet the Queen, or will Artemiev give up before that, do you think?
Probably give up.
He'll give up before then.
So-
I think when it becomes apparent that he can't maintain, well, you know, Artemiev is trying, but you can't take the pawn, that's the problem. The knight takes pawn, you just keep a check with your knight, and
King h4. I mean, you still have to calculate that.
And he's doing it the hard way. He's still working things out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would be like, okay, this looks like still, you know, you've only got one pawn now, and it's like, right, you have to be very careful about your calculation here. I mean, I'm surprised by this actually.
I think Magnus is going for something that he's studied before. I've seen this endgame with a king and a pawn on this square, and White's knight completely stuck, stopping the Black pawn. And all you need to do as Black is relocate your knight, distract the White knight, and then your pawn promotes to a queen. So I think Magnus had it worked out pretty much, or has seen something very similar to this before, seen this pattern.
Yeah, it's incredible how he just finishes the game off. You know, even here it's like, wow, he knows this is a win, and he's got it. He's got Zug Swang.
Zug Swang, no matter what White does, you will lose the White knight. It's game over, and Artemiev, I think, has just resigned.
So impressive. He's so impressive in these positions where so many times I've written him off as it just being a draw, and then he just, you know, he wins. He wins.